Good afternoon. I'm Greg Kehoe. I'm the U.S. Attorney for the Middle District of Florida. With me at the podium here is Matt Fodor, the Special Agent in charge for the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Chief Lee Burkaw of the Tampa Police Department, and directly behind me is Captain Ty Thompson of the Lakeland Police Department. What we have here today, ladies and gentlemen, is two indictments. We're indicting 19 people in various locations. Those two locations are in Tampa and in Lakeland. And they involve gang activity in our city and drug trafficking organizations. As you know, those drug trafficking organizations and the gangs pose a serious safety threat to our entire community. The law enforcement community, both federal and state and local, are committed to eradicating that danger so people can live in safety. The two items that we're talking about here, one of them in Tampa and one of them Lakeland. The first one is involved in the city of Tampa, that involves the gang called the Glock Boys, also known as the Glockies. They are involved in any number of violent activities, and also, remarkably enough, this street gang was involved in massive financial fraud, which we'll talk about in a second. But let's just give you an idea of the actual violence that was involved here. There were two gangs in West Tampa, the Glockies, and also another gang called Robles Park. And if you follow me through this chronology, in July 19th, 2020, Robles Park and the Glock Boys got in a shootout with many civilians around in front of the Truth Lounge here in Tampa. 8 people were injured. Several days later, July the 25th, 2020, in retaliation, the Glock Boys hit the Robles Park gang, and they did it at the International Mall. They did it at the International Mall in broad daylight in the parking lot. Cars where innocent bystanders were struck, and there were numerous rounds being fired. 2 days later, Robles Park retaliated on the Glock Boys with another shootout. Almost 10 days later, the Glock Boys, on August the 6th of 2020, the Glock Boys opened fire on Robles Park in and around Hillsborough High School. What was clear from the evidence that was obtained in the August 6th shooting were the .45 caliber casings that were taken from that shooting scene. What was law enforcement able to do with that? The FBI, together with the Tampa Police Department, was able to take the .45 caliber casings from that shooting and match them up with the shootings that had taken place at the lounge and had taken place at International Mall. What did we get from that? That they were the same shooters. In the past, we have indicted and prosecuted members of the Robles Park gang, and now we are here to take on the Glockies. And before you have an indictment of Greg Kendrick, Corey Davis, Arias Johnson, Damon Council, and Antonio Phillips. They're all Tampa residents, all live here, and they're charged with conspiracy to commit murder and aid of racketeering activity, conspiracy to commit assault with a dangerous weapon, attempted murder, discharge of a firearm, and furtherance of a crime of violence, felon in possession, and ammunition, and they all face, just on those charges alone, a period of incarceration up to life in prison. And just when you think that a street gang is only involved in this kind of street violence, there are also counts in the indictment that you'll examine that will detail the massive identity theft fraud and fraud operation that these individuals were involved in. They took various identities from people, and they went online in states throughout the United States to claim unemployment claims, to claim various financial applications using these false identities, and they did it over a period of years to the extent that they were able to defraud the public, both state and federal, of almost $2.9 million. Corey Davis had 47 false claims for a payout of $51,000. Damon Council, 22 claims for a payout of $49,000. Greg Kendrick, 94 claims, payout of $517,000. Antonio Phillips, 254 claims, a payout of $1,361,000. And Arias Johnson, 215 claims with a payout of over $1 million. So in addition to this gang being involved in serious violent crime on the streets of Tampa, They were involved in this massive financial fraud and identity theft that went around all of the states in the United States, not just the state of Florida. In conjunction with that, we have a narcotics investigation coming out of Lakeland. And this is a drug trafficking organization involving a sophisticated drug scheme and 14 defendants, 14 members in the area. They have trafficked 400 grams of fentanyl, over 500 grams of methamphetamine, as well as cocaine and ecstasy. They operate out of multiple motels, stash houses across Lakeland and Winter Haven, and these defendants were violent. You can take a look at the indictment, and you can see the various charges that these individuals had, many of which were violent crimes. And many of these individuals were armed at the time of their apprehension, even though they were convicted felons. 10 of them had prior felony convictions for drug trafficking or violent crimes. After they finished their terms, they were back out on the street doing the same thing they did before, engaged in violent crimes and narcotics trafficking. But thanks to the efforts where the FBI, again, and the Lakeland Police Department were bringing these 14 individuals to bear today. As an aside, one of the individuals, when they attempted to arrest them last week, fled and was engaged in a car chase and a car crash with the Lakeland Police Department. What's important to take away from this press conference is this, that law enforcement is here to demonstrate not only to the public, but to these gangs, not only in Tampa, not only in Lakeland, but throughout the Middle District of Florida, that law enforcement is here and these individuals are going to be prosecuted to the fullest. These are 2 indictments involving 15 individuals, and I give you my word that law enforcement is dedicated to the goal that there will be additional indictments, and they are not going to give up until these criminal organizations are taken off the board. It is essential that law enforcement, federal, state, and local, be responsive to the safety needs of this community, and that's what we will do, and that's what we will continue to do. 19 people, if you think anybody thinks this is the end, this is not the end. This is just the beginning, and we will continue to pursue this over the years to do everything possible to make our community safe throughout the Middle District of Florida. That's what the people in this community want, and that's what we have been tasked to do, and we will do it. What I'd like to do right now is give my law enforcement colleagues an opportunity for a few words, starting with Matt Fodor of the FBI.